joining us. Thanks for joining us.
All of his body parts are moving.
I'm gonna be sick tomorrow. I can feel it. It's
What
coming
about
on.
today, though? What about now?
I'll be sick after this.
Busy with the interview.
Yeah.
I mean, to be safe, I haven't gotten any COVID tests before I came, so I don't want to break
Yeah.
That's all right. I have COVID as well.
Perfect. Word. That's good for everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for stopping by. We got Mark Brady on. I just wanted to just dive in. I had a couple questions.
Oh, are you re-rolling that?
Yeah.
I just got out of the bathroom. You guys are sneaking this on me.
No, the flush was recorded.
Okay, great. All
The
right.
flush was the. You
Wait,
recorded
that's the
scene.
intro?
Yeah.
We always start recording and then we tell people, anything they want out.
All right.
Check out.
that's usually, it happens best that way.
I think you're about the fourth person to say, "Oh, we're recording now."
Well, yeah, that's
Our last
You're
guy
on.
fucking
Yeah.
freaked
We need
out.
a sign that says yes, we are recording. Now.
yeah. There's got to be a button or
Well, yeah, our last guy was like fumbling with the mic and like jacking it off. We were like,
Oh, yeah.
it's good. You don't need to touch it. He's like,
Okay.
whoa, why? I just want
You
to
might,
look
you
at
probably,
it.
you probably know him, Chris Rivoli.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know Chris. Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah.
So, I guess, did you have anything you want to start with?
You started off.
Or, yeah.
You seem eager.
Yeah, I had a question. I mean, because I know, well, Lucas, I want you to ask the question about the NC's funniest, because you had a question that we had discussed before.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's kind of like jab at Chris a little bit. So Chris, we asked Chris about the NC's Funniest Award and like what it meant to him if he were to win it.
Uh-huh.
And he kind of gave kind of a comedian answer. He's like, nothing. You get nothing, just $1,000. Your life is the same, and yada yada yada. He's like, it's not much, but it is to like win, and it's like bragging rights. So I was curious to see like what you said about it since you've already,
So well, yeah, what it meant for me.
Yeah, like how it changed your.
Yeah,
career.
it's so funny. Career-wise, it doesn't do anything. Yeah, it's so funny. My parents came out and I won, and my mom was like, "So what happens next?" And I was like, "Now I have to go do another shitty open mic
Yeah.
like tomorrow. Like nothing happens." It's kind of like, I guess the only thing that really helps is like, you can put that on your quote unquote resume. Now there's something to say before you get on because you go so long without. Oh hey, there's a cat in my mouth. You go for so long with like no accolades or anything, and it's real. And honestly, most of the time, people are like, "What do you want me to say before I bring it up?" I'm like, "Nothing. Don't tell them anything.
Right.
Keep the bar low, because the more you hype it up, the more you have to follow."
Right.
It's like so.
Right.
It helps with, I guess, I don't know, people knowing your name maybe
Right.
locally, and like I remember when that did happen, I did like shit, man. I think it was like 25 shows in like 2 weeks where everyone was like, "Hey, can you come?" Like once you win, and then
Right.
it dies off immediately, and then it's back to square one.
So there's a little bit of longevity to it. A
Little
little better than a trophy.
Right? Yeah. And it just helps with the club, honestly, because they go, "Oh, we have our winner." And then
Obviously, yeah, it's something to.
you get booked a little bit more, but other than that, Chris is right. It really does nothing.
So that was 2016, right, when you won?
Yeah, I won it early, so
Yeah.
I got lucky. I started comedy in 2014, and then won it in 2016, which is very uncommon. And I'm not saying to like pat my own back. I'm saying I got the first 2 years. I was like, oh shit, I got this. And then year 3 to 5, I was like, I can't write a fucking joke. Like it just like totally flipped for me. So I don't know. Everyone has their own experience of like some people are just like awful and then got to build their way up. I was like, I kind of got it immediately, but then like really struggled for 2 years.
So it was like a quick peak, and then you had to fight through it afterwards.
Exactly. Yeah. Which was, I wish that didn't happen because you're almost in your head more. You're like, oh, fucking.
You think people had like, not just you, but other people had like, you thought maybe too high expectations of you afterwards? You're like, I need to build up to this, like, let me get to that point a little bit.
Right. Yeah. There's a little bit of like, oh, he's NC's funniest, and it's like, at the time, it's like the first rounds. It was like you had to do 5 minutes and then 7 minutes, and comedy contests are kind of bullshit because you have experienced comics doing it for like 12 years, and they're doing different jokes every set. And I literally did everything I had on that last show, where it's like do 10 minutes. I was like, that's all I have. I'm doing everything I've ever said on stage. So it was kind of like, do that first set of the 5 minutes, and then the next round add 1 or 2 more jokes, and then do that same thing and add 1 more. So it's kind of bullshit, because if that were to be like, okay, do new jokes every night, I would have been out in the first round for sure. And so it's just, I don't know.
Did those bits make it into your special Incognito?
Some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them, and then some of them did, and then some of them you just kind of grow out of, or you don't like I had like engagement material, and I have a wife and kids now, so it's like I don't need to say that anymore. Yeah. So you kind of just throw jokes away you're just like, I don't feel anything when I say this. So.
What? So you saying?
like, I remember love. That's old.
That peaked too really quick.
Yeah.
So I guess you said then you started 2014. How old were you?
20. I think it was.
Not to date you.
God, yeah. How old was I? 20. It was a little bit before I was. So a couple months before I was 28.
Ah.
Yeah.
Were you like the kid making jokes your whole life, or was it like, what was the thing that finally was like, I should get on stage?
Yeah. So this is a long-winded story, but like, I loved comedy, and like it was like, same thing. Like me and my friends, like this is all what it was about. Is just getting together and making each other laugh, and that was it. And I tried comedy when I was 20. I think I was 21, maybe 20, and I drove an hour out of town to go do open mics because I didn't want anybody I knew to see what was going to happen. And I did a couple of times at a club called Comedy Cabana, which is in Myrtle Beach. I was in school at Wilmington at the time, so I drove like an hour to do this, and then I did good, and the owner was like, hey, come back and do that again. And I was like, okay, and I did it, and did even a better reaction with the same stuff. And I didn't know how comedy worked at the time, so I was like, well, there you go, there's all those jokes, I'm going to do brand new jokes next time. And then I fucking ate it, like silence for 5 minutes, like on stage, where I was like, okay, good night. So that was like, and then, so I left, and I was like, yeah, that sucks. I'm not going to do that ever again. So I literally tried comedy 3 times, horrible set the 3rd time, and then stopped for years. Yeah, like 8 years. And I remember talking to my brother, like my brothers would always be like, oh, you should do comedy again. I'm like, no, you don't get it, dude. It's fucking awful. Like, it's just that experience of like trying to make people laugh, and then no one thinks you're funny. And it's just getting worse and worse by the show. Like, they lose, like, faith in you. And then, so my brothers would always egg me on. And then my brother passed away in 2014. And then I was like, you know what, fuck it. You know, you kind of just have, like, a new perspective on life and everything when something like that happens to you. So 2 months later, I was on stage. I was like, fuck this, I'm doing it. So it kind of felt like bulletproof almost, where it's like, no, that hurts a lot, you know, and then, like, when someone doesn't laugh at you, you're like, that's fucking nothing, so I just went back at it, so.
Did you and your brother, were you guys, like, jokesters together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's so funny, I was talking to my friends last night I met up with, and I was like, man, I can count on, like, one hand that me and my brothers that have had serious conversations. Like, it's almost like I don't know anything about you guys, we've just been fucking bullshitting this whole time we've known each other, so. Yeah, that's all it was about. Yeah.
Nice. Were you growing up like heavy into comedy, or what were you like? Who were comedians you were interested in when you were younger?
Yeah.
If there were any particular.
So, oddly enough, there's a comedian, Dom Irera, and he's still doing it too, but he was really big, in the 80s and 90s. But I mean, he's still doing it, still sells out clubs and stuff. But he was actually my dad's roommate in college, so they kept in close connection, and he used to come over, we used to call him Uncle Dom. And so, like, once I found out that was a job, like when my parents were like, oh yeah, there's Dom, and he's like on doing Comedy Central and stuff, like when I was in middle school and high school, like, I was like, holy shit, man, that's a job? So I just got blown away. So, like, I followed him, and I remember he got me into a comedy club just to, like, check out a show, like a live show. I was, like, 13. They were like,
should this kid be here?
Exactly. Yeah, they were like, this guy should not be in here, but he was like, he's a family friend, not going to say anything. And they're like, all right, put him in the back. And then, so as me and my family were in the back of the comedy club. I just remember the laughs going on in there, and I was like, this is the crazy. It felt like I was doing something illegal, because I was, but, I was just like blown away by that was a thing that people were doing. And so he heavily influenced me into just being interested, but I would say other comics that when I first started, or when I first got into it, Nick Swartzen, he was really funny. God, he's just like...
I knew him from Reno 911.
Yeah, and his comedy's just so silly, too.
So silly.
Daniel Tosh, when he first started, I remember him coming to UNCW when he was doing colleges, and I was blown away. I'm such like a fanboy. I had my fucking album for him to sign and everything, like his only... God, I forgot what it was called, the first one, but like I had him, and I was like, so stoked about the show, and it was in UNCW's auditorium, and it was like half full, and I was like, what? Like just blown away that like someone like this, like who couldn't fill it, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, I mean, now he's
now I go anywhere.
he can get tickets, yeah. It's unbelievable. So, him, Nick Swartzen, I liked Patton Oswalt when I started too, because it was just kind of like, and Brian Posehn, because they were just kind of like talking about different stuff, just kind of like nerdy things that I was like, oh, you can, like, it doesn't have to be this lane in comedy. Like, it can literally be anything. And, so I'd say those guys,
So you were saying how you thought, like, kind of your career kind of peaked in the beginning. In terms of, like, your writing process, how is that, like, trimmed and, like, honed since you, like, first, like, really started putting pen to paper and, like, not improvising?
Yeah. So when I first started, it was a script. Like, word for word script. And it was, I remember, like, when you first start, you, like, have to try to do it out of your mouth. You can't, So, like, literally, I would start a timer, and I would fuck up, and it would look at the timer, it's like 15 seconds. I'm like, God damn it, just like all this like practicing and trying to get it word for word, and I was like, this is impossible. So it started out word for word, and how it's developed now is premise, write the premise, and then bullet point kind of just the punchlines. Like, this is the thing that's funny to me, these three, and then whatever I say in between, I'll eventually get there naturally. Where I'm just like, how do I get from this to this? And I kind of don't worry about it. And I used to write like, all right, this topic, write 5 minutes on it, and I would do that whole topic. And then what I'd realize is none of it was funny. so now I will go up with a premise, maybe 2 punchlines, and if the 2 punchlines that I think is the funniest do not work, then it's not going to work, right? Instead of like building all this extra fluff in almost.
Right.
So
how much of like just the delivery, not the actual like joke outline, had to do with that? Like the way you said it. Like how much did the delivery did you practice?
Yeah, great question. Not a bunch, and I probably should have, because I know guys will like talk out their jokes, and sometimes, especially now, when I first say a joke, like if it eats shit the first couple times, I don't throw it away, because I feel like the audience can tell I'm thinking about what I'm saying.
Right.
If that makes sense.
So it's not natural.
Right. It doesn't come off as natural. It's not coming off conversational. I'm just trying to get these words in this order out the first time without, just totally passing out. Right. So, but after a couple times, then you kind of get the gist of it. And then if it's still not clicking, then I'm like, all right, it's just not funny. So, yeah.
Do you think you have, like, because there's a little bit more, I guess, space for you to then fill in the gaps with the way you're doing it, not as, like, all written out, that you get less tired of it, or that it has, like, more different lives than if you just say the same joke a lot of times, you know, because you can kind of take it different avenues, or
Yeah, because it like especially like when you have a little bit longer set, you have the freedom to kind of like, hey, this is an idea. I did this Friday. I did a show Friday, and like when I first started, it was like open mics, just do new stuff that you're working on, and then shows makes you fucking do everything that's polished or whatever. And now I'm at the point where it's like, okay, I'm do 40 minutes, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do 5 minutes that's brand new, I've never said before, because you get that time to play around, like this is the premise, and like talk it out a bit, because there's a lot of things that I've talked out on stage, and the punchline has just been said, because it's almost like a fight or flight moment where it's like, hey, this needs to be funny now, like, it's because the whole part about being funny is like hanging out with your friends and just talking shit and just whatever's kind of coming up. Right, you're riffing. And so instead of like sticking to the script as much, I will say the scripted things, but also just kind of, I mean, if it's silence, sit in the silence for a second and then just kind of be like, you guys know what I mean? And then like keep going and just like keep trying to dig in. And like, I've gotten good punchlines from just like being in the moment and trying to make this work right now, as opposed to like, oh, this is all I prepared and it didn't work and I'll just move on. So there's a little bit more like, I don't know.
you think you're less afraid of silence?
Yeah, for
Like,
sure. Yeah.
Sometimes maybe embrace it a little bit, or like not embrace it, but you know you're like, maybe, I don't know, you tell me.
Yeah. It feels like part of the game now, where it's like, I'll I guess I'm more comfortable with knowing that like, hey, this isn't gonna work every time. You know, before I was like, oh my god, this joke didn't work. Oh, I'm gonna go cry, and then now you're just like, this. That's what happens sometimes. And one of the biggest eye-opening things for me was, is I went to the Comedy Store probably 2018, 19, and I did mics around LA, and that was fun. But I checked out the Comedy Store, and it was a Thursday night. And Thursday night is like new. I think it's like headliner night, where like all these headliners get 15 minutes. You're talking Daniel Tosh came in. Sebastian Maniscalco, all these people that like headline their own shit, sell out arenas, and you're seeing them work for 15 minutes, right? At the Comedy Store. So like,
Yeah.
I saw what really opened my eyes. Sebastian Maniscalco came up, right? Sells out Madison Square Garden, and I got to see him do 15 minutes, and the unique thing about the Comedy Store is no one is there to see someone specifically, right? Like, it's not a bunch of Sebastian fans in there. It's not like, oh, you're not playing like a home game, right? So everyone loves comedy, but they're not there to like, oh, this is my favorite. I bought tickets. We're here. We got a babysitter. We're fucking pumped, that sort of thing. So I saw him go up there, and he has a 15-minute slot, and the first half of his set is pretty quiet, like to the point where I'm like, what the fuck? Like I thought it was
Is this
funny.
the same guy?
Right,
Yeah.
the same guy. But then the last half, fucking best 7 minutes that was in there, you know? So you split up his set, and you're like, well, this is obviously brand new shit, and then this stuff was like
You had a good average.
murder. Yeah, he murdered. So to me, it was eye opening to see someone of that status, that capability, to be like, okay, if new jokes are always going to be a fucking rough patch, like you can't forever. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing comedy. Like, I mean, obviously he's been doing it for 20 plus years, so that was eye opening to be like, okay, that's okay.
I think he's had a major kind of come up in the last like 5 years or so.
Oh yeah.
Just in terms of, I mean, I remember seeing his like, kind of like, I don't know if they were on Netflix or just smaller specials, and then now you see him in front of Madison Square Garden. I guess in New York too, with that Italian crowd,
Right.
It works well. Not that he's only for Italian Americans, but he definitely trends.
Right. Yeah. Certain comics have their lane. I mean, Larry the Cable Guy. I mean,
Yeah.
so he's got a lane. All those people like them, you know. So.
Yeah.
Something that you guys said about like being comfortable with silence or not knowing if a joke is going to work out remind me of like jazz. Like if you decide to do something in jazz, it's just an extension of the chord. There's no such thing as a wrong note. Has there ever been a joke that you tried that you were like, this is gonna fucking bomb, but it like killed?
Yeah, there was I think one or two that I was like, there was like one or two where I was like surprised by the reaction, right? Where you're like, I think this is funny, and then gets a really good reaction, and then there's more than often is like it goes the other way. We're like, oh dude, I'm fucked. This is it. This is my fucking new closer, dude.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna lift me up out of here, gonna carry me on chairs, or hoist me up, and you go up there and it's fucking silent.
Have you ever gotten gasps? Like,
That's worse.
that's this one guy in the back.
All my stuff's pretty down the middle, like as far as like being offensive or, you know, I kind of just, my goal is to make everyone feel comfortable, but there are times where you're like, you think of something fucked up and you're like, I gotta say this. I have to say this at least once, because for me, so, and then there's some stuff that is funny, they're like, but do I really want to like keep it in my act? Because like, I'll be like, oh, I went to community college. I have a wife and a couple kids. You know, the interesting thing about pedophiles, like, what the fuck? Is this the same comic? You know,
Nice segue.
yeah. You can't like keep it like kind of like nice and fluffy through the whole set, and then be like abortion. You're like, wow, it's like a hard right turn.
Only if the transition's like really clean. Like if it's a fucked up, funny transition. Like if you're talking about how your community college was next to like a kid's primary school.
Right.
Jack's trying to set up your next abortion joke here.
Pedophiles is,
Right.
that's a clean transition. That's a getaway.
Right, but also what's funny is not having a clean transition.
Yeah, just
Where-
abrupt.
Where you're just like, whoa. Yeah, so both can be
Both
funny.
can work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like in jazz.
You gotta be ready for the unknown, kind of, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
If someone just starts breaking out Beethoven in the middle of like a funky freestyle, I'm gonna think that's genius, or I'm gonna think it's shit.
Right.
Hey, Jack will tell you either way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you sure will.
And that's another thing that I've been more adapting to is being in the room. I used to just do the script, do the jokes, whatever. But like if something happens in the room, you gotta say something. You gotta address it, or if someone's like now, if I say something and people are laughing and they whisper, or someone nudges, I'm like, why did you nudge him? Like, what happened here? I have to know. And that's fun too, because it only happens this one show.
Yeah.
So I've been exploring more with that too. But like you're saying with jazz, like be in the
Present,
room, be
yeah.
present, and explore.
How much of that goes into your character creation when you go into these different character modes?
Character modes is in like
When you play someone else, when you are someone else.
I guess that probably ties in even maybe more with like the Hummer VR comedy.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know how much you guys know, so I
Yeah.
thought you were just talking
Yeah.
stand up. So.
Yeah, there's also a YouTube channel that you have.
Yeah, Hummy's VR comedy. Yeah, that's fun too because I don't know how we come up with the characters. Like sometimes you're just in VR and you look in this like virtual mirror and you can see yourself and you're like, how would this person be? Or, like sometimes we're just talking it out. Like it doesn't necessarily like right when we start recording, this is the start of it.
Right,
You know,
right.
we're in there for maybe it's kind of like stand up in a way where we're in there for an hour and a half where you write it. Not write. What I mean is like we have an hour and a half of stuff, and then you narrow it down to 10 minutes. So it's like if I use that analogy because in stand up, if I write for an hour, I fucking hope 5 minutes is funny. Like that's good. That is good for me. You know what I mean? That's how much you have to write. But like,
It's 20%.
yeah, like in
20%. It's God's.
but as far as like character development, I don't think it's just like seeing the person, like seeing who you are, and then just like being them. And I feel like we're allowed to get away with a little bit more because I'm not saying it. This fucking character is saying it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
we,
it's this illusion of responsibility. right?
Exactly,
That allows
yeah.
you to see kind of clarity, truth.
right. So yeah, so I can say something kind of fucked up as this character, but I didn't say it. This character didn't. Most people are a little bit more forgiving that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't see you as that person.
Right.
Like Slim Shady.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm Slim
honestly.
Shady. Yeah.
So with the VR comedy, Hummies, how did that start as you? It's three of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It started as you all like just playing games together and riffing, and then you're like, maybe we should put a mic on this.
Yeah. So we had no intention of making it a thing, and what happened was it's my cousin and my brother,
Okay.
and me doing the Hummy's VR, and we actually have so here and there one of my other cousins is a guest on there too. So, but it started out was just playing VR, and I wasn't even gonna buy a VR headset or anything. My wife bought it for me for Christmas. She knows that I like to game with my cousin and my brother, and I was like, no, I don't have time. I'm too busy. And she got it for me, and I was like, fine, I'll fucking join them or whatever. So we were playing, and just for our own kind of, I guess, our own. Is posterity the right word? Where like you just like this is just for us.
Yeah.
You know. So all right,
Posterity's
I don't
sake.
know a lot of words, so I'm trying to like make sure I'm using them correctly.
No, that's good.
Yeah. So like
Solid,
we awesome. All right. Cool.
Good job.
Jack was a writing professor, so he's
Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
ASU for like 6 years.
Where?
Arizona State University.
Oh shit. Okay. Damn.
Mostly known for partying, but Jack was writing there.
Hell yeah.
It wasn't known for partying. It was known for parties.
Parties.
This is
Parties and the
interview.
racist type of parties that have to be taken down.
Oh.
And then
Wow.
they put the kibosh on that thing. So by the time I got there was nothing. It was dry. Just
Wow.
a sad campus with sad people.
Well,
You added to that.
I'm
Yeah, you-
kidding. Shout out to
Sounds like you added to it.
It was actually a wonderful time.
shout out Arizona State.
Good people there. Good education.
Jack loves you. Wait, I had a question.
Sorry, yeah, you were saying.
Oh yeah,
something.
how it started. So we were just recording, and my brother would clip it up and be like these were funny moments just for us. Like put them on YouTube and made it a private link, so no one else. It was for 0 people other than us to be like, oh man, that was such a good moment in there. And then my brother was like, why don't we just make them public? Let's make maybe a couple public. I think this is funny, and maybe other people will think it's funny. And so we released it, and then I think it was like our second or third video. It got picked up by Gaming Bible or something or whatever, and it there was like a bar fight thing, and it got like on Facebook it gotten like 13 million views, but only on our page. People will only be on the platform. You know, people aren't going to be like, hey, I'm on Facebook and I'm going to jump on YouTube and check these guys out.
Though
You
there
know?
are a few, at least 2 of your YouTubes have over 1 million.
Yeah.
Today, which is pretty. I mean, obviously, guys didn't start doing it for that reason, but it's
Right.
got to be pretty cool that people are like, I like this, you know?
Right, yeah. It was cool. They're like, oh, well, this is crazy. So, it was probably, I don't know, we were doing it for less than a month, and then all of a sudden we woke up to 10,000 subscribers, and we're like, I guess we do this now? I guess this is a thing that we do? and then our other one got picked up, and people kind of gravitated towards it. But then there was we used to get a lot of comments. A lot of people know what we're doing now. Obviously, once you build up a fan base and they kind of get what you do. But there were so many people when we first started that were just didn't understand because we're combining playing a game. By the way, not even playing the game. There's no walkthrough. We don't give a shit about the game. It's what is in the game that we can make a joke about, that we can, where's the joke, So we used to get comments from people who'd be like, just play the game. I don't understand. So many people were just so angry. And it was yeah, that's not us. That's not, if you're here for that, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah, there's a Twitch page for you to see how to beat the game.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then,
This isn't speedrunning.
Yeah.
yeah. And then there'd be other people where it was funny, they're like, oh, this is funny, but I don't really care about games, and so we're in a very weird place where neither people care about us, but it's like a Venn diagram of these people care about us.
The funny part is there though, the funny aspect.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
So in terms of local content, between going from the stage and then doing it on VR, is the VR a lot safer, socially, in terms of you just have a headset and you're talking, as opposed to standing on a stage,
Yeah.
walking back and forth and stuff.
Right. Yeah. I mean, no one can come up from the audience and smack me. That's for sure. So that is safer.
Not yet.
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
there's any rules that say against that, is there?
What?
Don't physically.
No,
assault.
yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, there's been a couple people who did it. I mean,
Really?
yeah.
I mean, Will Smith.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Oh no, I thought you were talking about you. Like.
Oh no,
like you.
not me, but like you can go on YouTube and just be like people just like rushing the stage and comics having
Dave Chappelle did too, didn't he?
that.
Oh, that's
yeah.
true.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter how big you are.
That dude got stomped. They took a
Yeah.
picture of him like going in the ambulance. His leg was like.
Wait, they like
don't-
broke his leg?
Yeah, you don't
Oh,
try
dude,
to
he
fight
was
a national
absolutely-
hero.
Yeah, he's
I mean,
That's
yeah,
a
there's like
terrible
6
idea.
guys.
Oh,
up
he gets
there,
pushed into the
ready.
shit.
Even
He
Dave
got-
Chappelle was just like,
Yeah.
might as well.
Oh,
What's good?
Yeah.
No, Dave was fine.
Yeah, but they
Remember the guy was.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Idiot.
Oh,
Yeah, it
my
looked like he
God.
got ran over by a car.
Oh,
I guess,
man.
I guess there's that. Or
I just, it's like, that's such a stupid and reckless thing to do.
It
What do you
happens
think
a
was
lot,
going to
dude.
happen?
Yeah.
It happens a lot.
Like,
guess
if you try to
Will
rush
did
Joe
it.
Rogan, what do you think is going to happen? He's going to
Yeah.
kick you and you're going to die.
Right.
That's what's going to happen.
I mean, is
Will Smith
is that something you've ever thought about though? Like, damn, I'm standing up here, somebody could bum rush me. I wouldn't think like that's probably the last thing kind of going through.
Yeah, that's the last thing. I
He's
think
2 weeks into boxing.
But also, yeah,
He is 2
that's
weeks
why I
into
started
boxing.
boxing. Is because well, I see all these comics taking heat, and I'm like, I gotta fucking defend myself. But there's, I also again, I'm pretty down the fairway. I don't pick on anyone, or I don't like if something happens to the crowd, I try to make it about, you know, I put it back on myself. Like I'm an idiot. I mean, there's very few times I'll pick out what's odd about it or whatever, but like I'm not like, look at this fucking pussy, you know? It's just like, that's the last thing I want to do. So,
I
Yeah.
want to see a comedian get stabbed and then finish the set.
oh, that would be killer.
kill
You want to
Yeah,
stay?
yeah.
Just fucking
Yeah.
kill
You
it.
wanna-
Well, no, I don't want to
Immortalized.
to do that, you know. Maybe set up a PR stunt.
You're
Like
a violent
Somebody, not
person.
me.
No, I just want to
Jack
see.
I want
wanna
to flip this interview on you.
Yeah.
Where'd you start
I
out?
want
Yeah,
to see acts
what's
of
going,
being
Jack?
violent.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Do
I,
you-
nothing.
Do
I
you-
think Bob Marley got shot like what 3 times and then went on stage and finished a show or something like that.
I feel like at some
was that
point
2 weeks
it would
later?
almost have to be like semi-performance art, where like stab them in a safe place, so like we know nothing's
Ooh,
gonna
yeah,
happen,
yeah.
and then let them perform.
That's a true PR stunt.
You
That's
know?
something that could actually happen.
Yeah.
It's weird enough.
Yeah, I could use a couple more followers. I think I think I might do that.
I had a question on crowds because we actually talking to we were talking to Chris Ripley recently again, and he had some thoughts on different local crowds. Was wondering what your thoughts are. Raleigh versus Chapel Hill versus Durham.
Okay. Yeah.
If they're,
God.
not to
Yeah.
make you trash anybody.
No, Raleigh
He
is
was pretty clear about his preferences.
Yeah.
Raleigh and Durham are great. Chapel Hill fucking blows.
Bro,
They suck,
Whoa.
dude. They're terrible.
Great.
Yeah, that's a. We're not editing that out.
Great.
That's fine.
I got great.
So all right. So you're pretty, middle of the road, trying to make people laugh, not being like political.
Yeah.
What with Chapel Hill? Like, why are they? I was thinking maybe they're too political. Maybe they're sensitive.
I think they're a little sensitive, and because I did a gig one time and I had this this joke about guns, and I said I remember starting the joke and it was some bar I forget what it was in, but I remember starting the joke and I was like, yeah. God damn, what joke was I doing? I think I was doing like my Pokemon joke, and all I said was like this kid tried to trade his Pokemon card for his friend's dad's gun, and all I said was fucking gun. Okay, the bartender goes, no.
The bartender.
Bartender stopped the show and goes, we don't talk about guns in here, and she points to the sign where it says the fucking gun
Really?
sign with like an X on it, like
Really?
no guns allowed or whatever, and I go, yeah, I'm just saying I don't actually have a gun on me. And then I did like a minute on that, and I'm like, by the way, do you think someone's like coming up to the door and be like, ah, damn it, I couldn't bring my gun in here, That's not gonna deter anyone from actually bringing a gun. So like, just the fact that like you can say gun or like anything that's like kind of not like racial, like that is like still stay fucking shut down, and that's okay. That's fine or whatever. But like, you gotta realize like it's not a joke. Like some people are like, people are very quick to be like that's racist and be like, well, you didn't hear the joke, did you? You didn't hear it at all because that's not what I'm saying in the joke. So even with a premise, like they'll shut it down. They're like, we don't care whatever you have to say.
There are just certain code words that they've said. This is like in my head. I'm not going to listen anymore.
Right? Yeah.
Which gun would be one, I guess.
Yeah. So I just remember that. Like that was one of my moments where I'm like, I'm not fucking with this place anymore. Where it's like I can't even like. It's like all my shit is silly. Like I am not a person to be like, you know what the thing is. Like that's not me, and I don't really. I mean, I don't like that. I don't like to do that myself. But it's all just silly shit, and just the fact that saying gun, the bartender came from around
That's
the
funny.
bar and was like, no, yeah, whoa. I was like,
Who's this bartender?
Yeah, right.
the owner.
Gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Oh, it was the
I think
owner.
it was the owner
gatekeeper
bartender.
of
He was
thought.
also the waiter.
Yeah.
The gatekeeper of thought in the community.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it.
So that's
So I guess, are you now at a point where you can kind of, I mean, I guess you could be at any point, but like, do you kind of avoid maybe Chapel Hill a little now?
no. I'll still do it.
Still
Yeah. I actually there's a great open mic there called Zogs, and a lot of people don't do it, and I like doing it because it is more challenging to me.
Yeah.
Because they do shut it down, or they're harder to win if you have something that might be a little, I don't know, hard to like bring up or whatever.
Yeah.
So, no, I'll still do it. I think the crowd still suck, but it's, but also they can say I suck, and that's
Yeah.
fine. That's true. That they're right to think I suck for that. So.
Does it worry you, I guess? Because my thought would be, this is kind of like, Chapel Hill is probably going to be mostly younger people.
Yeah.
I guess, does it worry you a little bit about the direction of where, like, their appreciation of comedy is going?
I don't think so. No, I think in the next couple years you're going to see it turn, where people are going to say a word that you're not allowed to say. I mean, within respect. I mean, not like I'm not going to be up there saying the worst shit, but like you can say something that might be a little taboo, and people are going to be excited to hear like, oh shit, you're not supposed to say that, but he said that, and they're going to be into it. I feel like in the next couple years, like I know.
Kind of pendulum swing.
Yeah. That'll
Pendulum
come back.
swings the other way for everywhere else. Is that what's going on?
Well, it goes to one extreme to the, like, not extreme.
Right now
but-
we're very like super sketchy about what the people say. I
Yeah.
think it's gonna go the other way. Because I was gonna say I just watched some of Bill Burr's special, The Red Rocks,
Right.
and those are just watching it on TV. I felt uncomfortable, but there was I just love watching because like, I mean, I don't agree with most of the stuff he says, but
Sure.
he says it fun. He's a funny guy.
Right.
That's what like matters the most to me. It's like this guy's clearly funny. Like he could be talking about something terrible, but he just says it funny, and you can tell the crowd just like, it's okay to laugh. Like, you can tell it, and then Bill's just like, just fucking laugh. It's funny,
Right.
He's funny about it. But,
Yeah, he's great. And like that's another thing about like those are all people to see him who know what to expect.
Right.
So
exactly.
like yeah.
So if you go to that show and you get angry with something, that's on you.
Oh, for sure.
obviously, because you should know by at this point what you're getting into. And yeah, he was in Colorado, which was definitely sketchy for him, I'm sure. So,
yeah.
But, yeah.
I guess, like, off the crowd thing, like, setting. So you played, obviously, some outside of, like, the regional area.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite places you played outside of, like, Triangle, I guess? Or
God. I would say oh my God, what's the name of it in New York? I did like the Laughing Devil Comedy Festival up there, and it was Greenwich Village. That was fun. That was a good little
Wait, not
little
the
spot.
Cellar.
Not the Cellar.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
the one.
sorry.
Yeah, right next to it.
Right.
That was really good. I just did the Punchline in Atlanta last month, and that was really fun. God, I'm trying to think of other. I mean, I have like clubs per se have been like few and far between because they've just been so hard to get into.
Yeah.
I mean, you really need to have someone vouch for you hard, or kind of just word of mouth. So, but there's a lot of great independent shows. I just did one Mystic Distillery that a comedian Brent Blakeney he runs, and fucking great. I mean, I feel like especially with COVID, it's been like some comedy clubs have shut down, and they go, hey, here's a spot we can put on comedy here. Doesn't always mean it'll work, but like the some rooms will just stay open like that. But you can have a lot of like fun with independent gigs where it's like, wow, I can't believe that was fun. I mean, I've done a lot of corporate stuff too that have been fun, where it's like some people don't mess around with corporate, but
Yeah.
most of my stuff is clean, so like those can be fun.
It works well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, what do you think about like the community of comedians here in Raleigh? Like how much of a camaraderie are you guys? Or is it more?
No, they're all
competitive?
fucking terrible. No, I'm just kidding. I just wanted to talk more shit. No, I think I've said
We're gonna cut it right after that.
I'm just making you guys laugh. I think I would say that pound for pound, like in Raleigh, I would put our top 10 up against anybody else's top 10. I mean, we've had people move away that started here, but like there was a point where I was like, and go to other scenes, and I'd be like, dude, these
Kill these motherfuckers.
Yeah, not like that, but like being impressed with your own scene, and I think that's what I mean. Like
That's
I've been
gotta be a great
impressed with where I'm just like, holy shit, and it elevates everybody else, because if you see someone go on stage, they fucking rip it. You're just like, okay, I gotta go back and look at all my stuff, you know, and that's great for the scene. When you have like 5, 6, 7 people that are like killers, and that makes you want to be better. That's how it was when I started, and then hopefully you elevate. Now people are moving away, and that's fine, but I think with our scene, we've always had good comics. Yeah, I don't think there's any, and like people trying too. Like I always appreciate, like I know we were talking about this before, but like we were talking about boxing and how I just started, and you've been doing it for what, 16 years? Is that what you said? Like I am going into boxing with zero. I don't want to fight anybody. All right. I hope I never have to fight someone in my life.
If you do, we got a guy.
We got a perfect
Guy
guy.
a full foot shorter than him. He's not scared at all. Not terrifying.
So, but like I go in there with the intention of having respect of people like you that are like, this is my thing. Like, and so I am trying in here. I'm not fucking around, you know? And then I think in our scene, people don't fuck around, you know?
Do you feel that with the crowd when, you know, you enter the stage, you feel the respect from the crowd?
Yeah, for sure. Our crowds are very respectful, I feel like. I mean, of course, there's always like, we used to do like these shows at like 10:30 to like midnight, and I mean, some people are just there, and you're like, yeah, why are you here? So I mean, like the crowds are pretty good, but I mean, you always get a loose cannon here and there.
Oh, I'm
so,
sure. I'm
yeah.
sure.
But yeah, man, I've always been impressed with the comics in our scene.
You guys are all pretty close with each other?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's pretty tight.
As close as you need to be.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, it's hard because especially for me personally now, where like when I first started, again, I was talking to my friend. He reminded me of this. When I first started, it was barriers to entry. Like people would see a new guy and fucking turn their back on him. Where I was just like, God damn, these people are fucking assholes. Like when I first started, and then you start getting good jokes, and then they go, "What's up, man?" And they're like, okay, good. You know, they accept me. And I feel kind of bad because, well, like I have a wife and kids now, so I'm not. There are a lot of comics I do not know, and that is merely for the fact that like being booked on stuff, and I'm not going to the open mics as much as I used to, and like, oh, I have to, you know, help with the kids tonight, so I can't get out. So like, I do feel bad that I go to an open mic and I say, I don't know, 10 of these people on here, but you know, you see them here and there, and you see them try, and that's good. That's great. We need more comics in the scene.
Good Nights is kind of the focal point, I guess, of like the scene locally.
Yeah.
I would say. Have you been? Well, have they opened the new
I was
location
gonna say,
yet?
what's the process on that?
Yeah, I
I've heard
think
a lot of different things.
Yeah, I think they're just moving to the temporary spot,
Right.
which is the K and W.
It's right next to Cheshire Cat.
Oh, okay.
Cameron Village.
Yeah,
Chick-fil-A is right there.
Mm-hmm. And they just had their last weekend.
So this is the
This past
official last weekend.
Yeah, it's done. So,
Okay.
which sucks because it's been there since '83.
Yeah, I heard. Did they like change owners, or somebody sold something?
They sold it to people who are going to build apartments there.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Right next to the prison. $1 million apartment.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's nice over there. I have no problem. But yeah, that's It's got to be a little sad. I mean, because you've probably been probably since pretty much the start.
Yeah.
Going there
Yeah.
performing. I don't know if you were going there beforehand, but
Yeah, I checked it out like back when I was like had that little era of like I'm gonna do it, and they used to make you audition in front of nobody, so you couldn't. It wasn't just an open mic, and we just have a list of people we let up. They would have to go in front of the MC and the other comics and do your set.
Oh.
And I did that one time, and it like just stopped me short in my set, and we're like, "Yeah, well, you need some work. Why don't you work on it and come back?"
Oh, that's the worst.
That's dude. Like literally, and then
just let me finish
Yeah, just let
speaking.
him finish.
yeah, and then the other. It's awful because the worst people to perform for are comics
I'm
because
sure,
they're
yeah.
all
Very critical.
very critical. Yeah, so no one's giving it up for anybody, and if you get a spot, you're taken away from their stage time. So yeah, that was
That's
fucking a
interesting.
nightmare.
I didn't know that.
So
song
having
works.
AirPods in. I didn't fucking listen.
This is before AirPods.
Oh.
It's free AirPods.
Yeah.
Crazy time.
Yeah, it was a CD player.
Right, the CD is the Walkman.
Yeah.
It's a Walkman.
They literally just had their boombox playing.
Have your middle finger up.
Yeah. Kind of in the middle of something. Yeah.
I had something else, but I don't know if you guys had anything.
Yeah, I was gonna touch on your work life
Yeah.
balance because obviously I'm sure having kids, a family, and all that shebang makes it a little more difficult on your work
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
So has it been like a lot more difficult, or you've been able to like the longer you've been doing it, it's been easier, I guess.
Yeah, it makes it more difficult because I like my family. So that's hard because
That is a hard thing.
Yeah,
to like
it's-
your family. That's awful.
it is awful.
It's awful.
But for dreams, it is.
It's a burden.
Yeah.
Learn to love.
Yes. It
It's really,
sucks,
really
but
selfish of them.
right, because if I go out, I'm like missing.
It's almost like you should get divorced.
Yeah, I'm gonna let them know that it is
just
selfish.
leave. And
Yeah.
just, yeah, it's
Should've
bad
known not
for
to been
you.
born.
Jack
It's
is-
not you, it's me. Honestly, you should give him the whole speech.
I need to. I need to.
Second guest Jack's tried to break up a family of.
Oh really?
No, it's not the second. Not the second.
I was thinking maybe tab one.
Tab
you
one?
did tell him it wasn't you.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, same thing. It's like if it's difficult, just cut it off and just move on.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can quit on your family, and that's okay.
You can't quit
That's a
on
lot
your
of
dreams.
content too. Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, I have had the thought of of being like, oh yeah, you can just like I used to like, I could not believe some dads who would leave their family and be like, what a piece of shit. And then I had a family and I was like, I get it. I mean, I understand. At least I can see why they did it.
In your case,
I
it's
would
not-
never do it.
It's not you walked out to go get like a carton of cigarettes or some milk. It's you went out to go do a show and you never come back.
And then I got my own apartment.
Yeah, you just never. The show had bigger tits.
Right.
He's got another show the next night.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's been hard because especially with COVID, when everything shut down.
Yeah.
And I gotta be honest, it was nice because I was obviously you were busy. You're doing comedy like 4 to 5 times a week, and then I have my full-time job, and then so that's hard. But like when COVID happened, I just got to sit and like be with my kids
Right.
more. I mean, like I'm not like when I'm home, man. It's like I'm 100% in to being a dad, and like
Right.
I love hanging out with them. But
Yeah.
why are you shaking your head now?
I couldn't imagine. I just couldn't imagine.
Yeah. Well, do you have a girlfriend?
I have a girlfriend, though.
Okay.
I just can't imagine
Yeah.
the kid thing.
Well, yeah. See,
Two
that's,
helpless human beings, or any helpless human beings. I could be like, I just don't pity them or anything, and be like, wow, you're stupid. You're gonna die.
Sure.
And I can't do anything to stop you.
Yeah.
My whole
This is what he tells the dog he's
optimism.
gonna get.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the dog keeps rolling around, and like we found him in this. This is a personal thing. We'll
Please.
probably edit this out. There was a dog that lives next door, and we found him down the street as I was going to work. I put him in my car, and then I had to drive back and drop him back off in my house because I can't trust his own owner to watch him because he's just out in the street now.
oh my god.
Jack hasn't accepted this yet, but that dog is gonna
That
be
dog's
his
not
dog.
mine.
Okay.
It's
You
not
still
mine.
have it?
No.
It's
No.
in
Do you
his.
still see it?
Yeah, we
It's
see
probably
it.
in the-
It's there.
Oh,
It's in the-
no, well now you have to. If you
Yeah.
like see him like a lot.
Anyway, what was the point of this?
We did start.
Trying to start it.
Yeah.
Work-life
No.
balance about how maybe one day you'll understand.
No,
Yeah.
like having like children is a mind-boggling experience. And
Well-
to pursue dreams beyond that, I'm just shaking my head.
Yeah. Well, the thing is I tell, because other comics will be like, man, I don't know how you do this with kids, and I don't see myself like I would never. It's hard to imagine like having a kid. And I'm like, well, do you have a wife or a girlfriend? And they're like, I mean, yeah, a girlfriend. I'm like, well, you wouldn't want to have kids with your fucking girlfriend. That's weird. You want to have it with your wife, somebody you love. Like, you're like, oh wow, I want to like start a life with you. But
Right.
a girlfriend is like, you can just walk away anytime.
Right.
You know that.
Even then, you know.
It's kind of like, wait a minute.
I'm trying to break up your relationship.
Right. I know you're trying to play the Uno
Just walk
reverse
away.
card, but you know it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing. But yeah, you think you're too late into the trap, but you can still knock your
One
own leg
bedrooms
off.
are really
Yes.
expensive in Raleigh.
So it's like it's the same. It's really the same thing.
Yeah.
Being homeless is free.
I mean,
Nah.
there's some
bridge-
added
the bridge-
expenses.
yeah,
You
no,
gotta
yeah,
pay
there's
for
definitely
showers.
I mean, it's like
yeah.
an RPG, and basically, like I come in
You're
already
telling
knowing
me-
boxing, so I'm like a level 15 homeless person already.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And if I just fight and loot other homeless people, I'll eventually.
It seems like he has convinced you. Mark has convinced you to now be single
Yeah. How
No,
about
no,
and
no,
homeless. Not only
no,
single,
no.
but
yeah,
homeless.
lose the house too. Lose everything.
Lose everything, be homeless.
You won't get the dog.
You're fucking robbing.
And you know what? It's probably it's probably gonna be good. Just come with me because you can pursue your dreams better that way.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Okay.
dog's gonna be
Jack.
like, dude, you want to come stay at my house?
How long you been dating her?
2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Alright. Yeah, it's fine. All right.
Turning this on Jack now.
Yeah.
That's good. We don't have kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's-
Oh, so it's great.
It's great.
He
Yeah.
can say,
We go out at nights. We go bowling
Oh
together.
my god. Yeah. That's crazy.
honestly, I'm sure he could go. Mark can go bowling as well, though.
Yeah, you
And
could
they
probably go bowling. Do you go bowling, Mark?
I would never want to go bowling.
Jesus.
That's-
The lost art. Man, it's a lost art. It's a fun thing to do, and they serve nachos at the concession stand.
Yeah.
Buffalo Lane South. Shout out.
Do they have the ball? What is it called? The where you
Oh,
sit
the-
and you just roll it down.
I think they all have those for like people that are infirm. the carriage that you push the ball down, right?
Yeah, but is there even a point of bowling then?
I can't right now.
I saw a couple people using it, and they were like with their significant others, and they were a lot older. And I think the
That
point
makes
is
sense.
spending time.
Were they like holding the ball together like a baby?
Well, they carried it, and they like did one of these
I might try to get
into
this.
it. Oh, it's just kind of like
track.
the whole thing is just
Just
sad. But
completely.
I mean, it is what it is.
Okay, right, yeah.
Yeah, and who are we to judge them for
No.
their but the grace of God go we.
Yeah, no, I was trying to make a joke, but you just made me feel like shit.
Amen.
We might be down one guest because Jack's going to pursue his dreams next week. But
It's a homeless experience. That's a new podcast.
Hell yeah.
Right there, that's a new one. Homeless in Raleigh.
Are you gonna interview?
No, we're gonna
homeless
call it Raw in Raleigh. No, it's actually me.
there is
trying to
already
be
a Raw.
homeless
There's
and
already a
Raleigh.
Raw.
Oh
Just
shit.
Raleigh. Just say
Okay.
Raleigh.
Oh, nice.
Raleigh.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna level up by interviewing other homeless people before I fight them.
Oh.
So he's trying to now make you be homeless so that he can get
Fight
you on
me?
his new
No,
podcast.
not to
Invite
fight you,
Okay.
so you
To
can be on
interview.
my team,
Oh.
and we can fight other people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna create a whole school of homeless people.
Wow.
Yeah, we got a storage space rented out and everything. Like,
Yeah, this isn't Fight Club at all. I didn't rip this off.
Okay, yeah.
This
no,
is-
there's no windows.
Yeah.
If,
My name is not Tyler Durden.
not
It's
yet.
Jack Geist. Jack
If that doesn't work though,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
what kind of do you have any upcoming like things to shout out for you wise comedy?
Not really. I mean, I had the album come out, and then I had it for a year, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with the footage. So I'm just gonna put the whole thing on YouTube
Nice.
and just put something out there. So
Where-
that'll be on my YouTube September.
Oh, September.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's for Incognito.
Yeah, so it'll be the same thing, a little different. I'll probably take out. It's so hard because comedy has shifted so much that you watch it an hour. Did you sit down and watch the whole Bill Burr
No,
special?
I watched it in like increments. I still haven't finished it yet.
Exactly. And how many times have you clicked on it to? Because I do the same thing because obviously super busy, but like.
Right.
How many times have you started it and then had to stop?
Well, I usually do really good about just watching something all the way through because I usually don't have shit to do at work.
Yeah.
But like this particular time, I was like, it was like right before bed. I was like, I wanted to see just some of it, but I wasn't gonna watch the whole hour and 30.
Right.
I see what you mean though.
Right. That's
It's a
been
lot.
a common thing where like the hour or the special has been an hour long, but like no one has time to just
It's
sit
just a little
there.
too long.
It's a little too long, and that is Bill Burr. I mean, in my opinion,
Right, yeah,
no one
it's-
is doing it better. He's
Yeah.
number one in my book. So if you are doing it to Bill Burr, what the fuck are
Right.
people gonna do to my shit?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so people have been altering what a quote unquote special will be. There's a great comic, Akash Singh. He sent out a special, and he's like, I worked really hard on this, blah blah blah. Super funny guy. Put out his special on YouTube, 20 minutes, and I was like, interesting. There's no one more on the forefront than Akash and Andrew Schultz.
And I saw him in Austin.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I got to work with him at the Improv. Super
Oh.
nice guy. Yeah, I got to host for him.
Nice.
And for him.
For him on the forum.
And but that's the kind of the culture changing. I feel like where 20 minutes, and what I realized was like I'll check it out. I'll check it out for a little bit. I press play. I was about 5 minutes in, and I go, all right, I'm gonna stop. I gotta do some work. And then I said, well,
It's not that it was bad or anything.
no. But like
Yeah.
I stopped it, and then I go, there's really only like 14 more minutes. So I was like, I have 14 minutes, and I played the whole thing. So that's the kind of culture change that I think we're going to see in comedy too, where the hour, I don't think it's going to die, but I think you're going to see a lot more comics put out a 20-minute or a half-hour special because of the retention span, or the attention span.
Yeah, I was
like,
gonna say,
right.
yeah.
It just
You're-
matches the time.
It's the revival of sketch comedy too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's two things are going on now, and
Mhm.
it's kind of sad to see the attention span of America like collapse.
I think it's
Yeah.
in all art. Because I was gonna say the same about music. Because albums are getting shorter, songs are getting shorter. People like everybody was just fucking put Kanye in flames because he had 30 tracks on his album.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean,
yeah,
the average music listener's not gonna want to listen to a 9-minute song. They're
That
not
was
gonna
the
listen to
original
like
state.
Pink Floyd or
That-
like.
Mhm.
It's interesting because that was the original state of albums, though, was they were kind of short because that was the limitation of
Oh, yeah, you
technology.
can only have so much.
You can
Yeah.
only have so much, and now we're kind of circling
You can only
back,
have
not
so
because we need it shorter, but because our tastes have changed.
Mhm.
It is. You are able to put your best content, more of it, as opposed to like, if you have a long album, you kind of have to spread it out. You can't put your best stuff on every single one.
Right.
I mean,
So that's what I thought about.
I
when
mean, that would be the
thought
same with comedy
something
too.
short.
Is
Yeah,
your
comedy
strongest
too.
points are going to hit hardest in a
Exactly.
shorter period.
Yeah, it used to be, well, from what I'm hearing some comics, their mindset is put your best stuff at the front now. Because no one, or a lot of
Right.
people, will just stop.
Right.
So if you
That makes
if you
sense,
start
yeah.
with something that's like okay and you're building up to stronger stuff, you got to start fucking fire out of the front. And that's interesting because like when you put something out that you want people to see, music, comedy, whatever, your time is the most valuable thing. So when I say, oh, I'm gonna put this thing out, it's an hour, watch it, and I'm a fucking nobody, people are gonna press play, and then you are fighting for their attention
Right.
with the internet. Literally, I can stop watching this fucking comedy special and watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So like, how do you keep
I
them?
think, yeah.
Or
Yeah.
porn.
I think
or
it's
just
the,
or
Or
just
porn.
porn.
Yeah.
Or just porn.
Yeah.
Like you could just do something else. You could literally just
See,
go
that's something
outside
that's
when you
harder
don't-
when you're homeless, Jack.
Yeah.
No,
Porn.
it's not.
You
I
got-
mean,
You got your phone.
You got your phone.
Seems like
Everything becomes porn.
harder to get.
Everything becomes porn.
Stuff you can't have. It's just fantasies. You can't eat at that restaurant. That's a fantasy.
I'm jerking off thinking about having a house.
Now you're getting
Yeah,
it.
I get it.
Now you're getting the meditation process.
So where was Incognito filmed at?
Good nights.
Good nights.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Uh-huh.
Coming out in September. Anybody you really want to shout out or anything? Particular?
Shout out you guys.
Word.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Shout out to you guys.
Shout out to
Thanks
the
for
homeless.
the homeless too. Homeless.
Sounds like
And
going down your street.
Hummy's VR Comedy, if you want to check that out.
100%.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, we appreciate you coming through. I don't know if you guys had any more questions.
No, we're probably just gonna keep rambling on about
Yeah.
stuff that's not related at all. But I think this is probably a decent stopping point. We'll come to a very slow.
Do you have any new shows coming up? Shows that I could see?
You can see all his shit.
Yeah. Well, I'm working on the new album. So once I put that out, Incognito, I'm in a spot where like you have to do where I'm doing like 45-minute spots. So it's almost like I don't have the luxury of doing. Oh, I'm going to do a new hour all of a sudden, where I have to do old jokes because I got to prove to these people that I'm trustworthy of being funny. But then I'm also trying to work on new stuff, so I have a new hour eventually. But so you got to do like half and half, and that sucks. It's so funny you asked me about shows because I literally don't know if I'm on shows until someone like tags me in something. I go, oh fuck, I got that tonight, don't I? Like, so it's probably a bad place to be. Like, sometimes I'll look and I'm like, what do I got this week? But
Does your wife, how does she feel about that?
bad, yeah. I have to put most of it in the calendar, but like,
Okay.
there I'd say maybe like, honestly, probably like 10% of the stuff is, oh shit, I have that tonight. I totally forgot about that. I just forget to write it down. I'm like, someone will tag me in it and remind me, but.
Is that Leonardo?
Yeah.
Why Leonardo?
Because that was my Ninja Turtle, me and my brothers. I was Leonardo, so. And then my daughter got into Ninja Turtles.
Who's your brother?
Michelangelo, and the other one was Raphael. And then fucking nobody wants to be Donatello.
No one wants to be Donatello?
No.
That's fucking lame. Yeah.
Are you Donatello?
No, I'm Spike.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Some goddamn demon.
Yeah. I feel like you guys should be interviewing him. There's a lot of stuff in there. There's a lot of stuff in that head.
No, it's subtext. It's all subtext.
Okay.
I don't even show my face in the photo. You're getting your photo taken today, you homeless bum.
Well, I guess Jack's decided. I propositioned to meet. Oh yeah, that's the only thing before you were done. We always like to take like a Polaroid with the guest.
Hell yeah.
Just as long as that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't taken it yet.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm trying to get some pumps in, dude.
Yeah,
Get some pumps in.
everybody
Come
needs
on.
to get our photo creds up. That's the thing.
No,
That way I can put it on my resume.
Yeah, Lucas photo creds.
Polaroid photography.
Polaroid taker.
I do Polaroid photography because it's a necessity. Otherwise, I'm not going to be in the photo.
Yeah, Jack just doesn't want to be in the photo. But yeah, Jack, honestly, this
If
guy,
you wear a mask.
he would be an interview.
I would wear a mask.
You'd be like Dune.
He could be.
I could take on a whole persona and just wear like a bunny mask the whole interview.
Nah, you should get a.
Please, not the whole interview.
Why are you here?
Funny you should ask about it.
Why are you wearing that man suit?
Yeah.
Alright, give me the Polaroid.
Oh, is that a?
Yeah, if you want to come boxing, you can come boxing sometime.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, let me know where you are. That's I just got that fucking camera.
Oh yeah, it's nice. It's
Dude,
very nice.
well, I literally know how to press record, and that's it right now. I need to dive in.
Huge.
Yeah, there's a I'm-
huge
Is this it?
functionality right there. A lot more than
That's the
some
one, right?
people.
No, I'm getting. Yeah, it's the wrong one.
Who does the camera work?
Well, I guess.
All do? Yeah. Nice.
Well, we haven't. Yeah, we're thinking about making it a video podcast.
Awesome. Yeah, for sure.
Just gotta get some webcams.
Yeah, and then my girlfriend. It's hers actually.
Oh, okay.
But,
Is that Monsters?
it is. We got it in Barcelona.
Well, of
In
course
some
you did.
place.
Monsters was a
Hell yeah.
Alright, so
Yeah, now it's this will be the first one that's in color.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Get Jack.
Getting on the floor to take a picture.
there's literally nothing.
Take a second one too before Lucas eviscerates you.
That's the only one. I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah, Lucas.
I'm okay to say it.
Proving his point. He's doing that out of spite.
It's funny because my mom fucking does the shit out of that sometimes.
Oh, really?
She's like she's not very Asian, and it's funny. So she just pop a fucking leg up against the wall.
That's hilarious.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys.
Yeah, sorry. I'm glad it was able to work out.
Yeah.
First time you had a little sickness or something. So.
Yeah, she wasn't feeling good. She's actually got a herniated disc too. So like,
Same.
oh really? You
Yeah.
did?
Yep.
Oh damn.
Right.
Somebody
the
was
bottom
just
two in the lumbar.
You keep saying that.
somebody was just explaining to me what that actually
Because
means. Isn't it like
do.
there's
Why would I
fluid
not
leaking
say
on the
it?
spine? Is that somehow to do with it? I
What?
think what happens with a herniated disc? Like what's the
It's
actual...
basically when bad posture, long years bad posture, and then for me it was like one thing. Like I was playing baseball, and I dove back to the bag, and my chest hit the ground, and then everything else came. And then as soon as I did that, like apparently like the bones just clamped down really hard and like basically popped my nerve. So it's like bone on bone right now. And that's where the inflammation comes. Is there's like no nerve.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just grinding the discs against
Yeah,
each
and then
other.
basically, standing for long periods of time is the worst. Like, I'd rather do one heavy deadlift than stand for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, you said at the shows that's not great.
should, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully it's back
I
getting
have to
better
bring it
a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's been like 2 or 3 weeks, and it's about the same. So hopefully.
That sucks, man. It just fucks everything up.
Yeah.
Because you can't, there's a lot of stuff you can't do.
Yeah. So that's another reason why like I'm not doing open mics recently. I'm just doing shows I've already booked and like trying to hang out and do more.
Yeah, nice.
Yoga.
Yeah.
Did some yoga.
Yeah.
Been
Yeah.
doing yoga for a while. I'm trying to get that straight.
How long have you had it for?
What, the disc?
Yeah.
Or, that thing's, it's kind of like gradually. I'm thinking it's since college, but I just
Damn.
started like really getting into it. Like, because I didn't realize how bad it was until I started like lifting heavy again like 3 years ago. And I was like, fuck, my back hurts literally every day.
Have you
Like,
thought about surgery?
Yeah. That was trying to do
Hair, bro.
stem
just
cell
in
surgery,
shower
which is
to
going
that.
to take some of my hip and then like put it in between the bone.
Oh my
But
god.
like, yeah, I'm so young that they're like pretty much all the
Somewhere
surgeries would
this hat.
make you terrible by your 60s. So like,
Yeah,
this is
how
the one.
was dinner? What'd you
It's
guys
either this
eat
one or
last
just
night?
kinda-
Thai basil?
Yeah,
Live with
something
it.
like that.
Yeah, that's why the backs are sketchy,
Bone
man.
was
They're
okay.
real
Yeah.
sketchy, especially
Okay.
if you're young. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it's like a
The
long.
food was good.
It's, yeah, something that
You know,
gradually
the
gets
actual
worse and
hang
worse
out
until
with
you're
me
like,
and stuff. That was
I can't fucking
But the food's
stand
good.
now for like 30 minutes.
nothing your fault.
Damn.
Yeah, word. I was.
It is what it is. Though.
Yeah.
I got busier.
Yeah, I saw
Could
that.
be worse.
Yeah, it looked like it was busy when I got in there.
Yeah.
What you got planned today?
Just go back, hang out with the kids. Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
Family
God.
dinner.
Consider everything
Yeah.
Jack talked to you about.
You should come over
You
and
need a
just
baby.
hang out.
You need a babysitter, man. It's
You're
the
good with
guy
kids?
right here.
I
Yeah.
am. I actually
tell.
tutor on the weekends.
Okay.
He actually does do that, though. That is true. He's not
I just
a
can't
lot.
imagine raising them and being
Feed.
responsible for them. I'm cool teaching them stuff and being around them and stuff, but like, I have to be responsible for their well-being. Like, if you run out into that street and get hit by a car, like, I have to have personal stakes in that.
Yeah.
Couldn't fucking do it, because you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it, kid.
That's why I like not being home because it's like I'm not responsible.
It was on the clock. You were clocked in.
Yeah, exactly.
the weight and the feeling of loss from having had something so precious is still a responsibility that I cannot wrap my head around.
You're fucking dark. God. You just think about like, oh, kids would be great, but what if they die? Yeah, I understand. Yeah,
You know that one
it's
song,
probably the worst feeling on earth. Yeah,
the Eric Clapton. You know.
yeah. Well, so you can either have kids and they'll die and it'll be the worst thing ever, and you can also come out with a great song.
High risk, high reward.
Or they grow up to resent you and you wish they had died,
Oh.
which is something
Wow.
that happens.
Damn, there's a lot to unpack with you, man.
So much optimism.
Or they wish you're dead. Like it's
Yeah,
like
that's
a
true.
fucked up like long term.
Oh,
No, I've thought about that. I'm like,
got a lot to get to.
you hear
It's a
about
lot of
those
responsibility,
stories
though.
on the news. I'm like, this kid could hit me with a hammer in my sleep. I don't know.
Bro,
Yeah.
I can't trust this thing
Dude,
in my
middle
house.
school
I
is
can't
just-
control your will. I don't know what you're capable of.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
I don't ever want to be surprised by my child, you know, and I don't want to have a child because
You're
it's
just
always
afraid. You're just
surprising.
afraid your child might grow up and beat your ass.
Yeah, that's.
Oh
it.
yeah.
You just want kids so you can fight them.
Yeah, if that did happen, I mean, I would
Sorry,
be proud,
partner.
but also I'd be like, well, this was inevitable. This is basically what I taught him. So
Hilarious. All right, boys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, dude. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
It was a pleasure. Hope
Yeah,
to see you again.
absolutely. Thank
Definitely
you.
let us
Yeah,
know
man,
whenever
yeah.
you're having, shows
Let's
coming
go.
up.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, there's people ask me that all the time, and I do have shows, and it's like, this one is not.